Hi there. So I found the original game design document for Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex. The game was originally to be called Crash Bandicoot Worlds, and this document is the document sent to Universal for their feedback and approval on what kind of game we should be making. And I thought it'd be interesting to read through it, and then we can have an idea of how much of the original game idea we came up with made it to the final game. Certainly a lot of it was cut, but some parts made through. So I'm going to read through the document. I'll put in images where I can of the final game to see where things match. It's a different kind of video. Some people may not enjoy this, but I'll give it a go. There's a lot more of this document than I go through here. I'm just doing the first part. So let me know in the comments if you enjoy this kind of thing, if it's interesting or not. If it is, I'll continue with the document. All right, here we go. Crash Bandicoot Worlds. Concept doc. Right, the mission statement. The aim of Crash Bandicoot Worlds is to successfully transfer Crash from the PSX to the PS2. It needs to encapsulate all that Crash represents in terms of easy to understand objectives and gameplay, combined with stunning graphics. To be a success, Crash Bandicoot Worlds has to stay true to the original series while taking full advantage of the power of the PS2. It will achieve this in the following ways. The gameplay will be classic Crash. We may add slightly more momentum to Crash and some extra moves. We may make the camera move a little more freely. We will add extra crate types and may introduce the ability to move crates around. We'll add the ability to take branching paths and wide open areas for Crash to explore. The graphics will be state of the art for the PS2. We will take advantage of the linear nature of Crash gameplay to deliver cutting edge graphics and effects. We'll produce animation and effects software to cater for this. The game will incorporate dynamic systems to allow for realistic movement of in-game objects. Crates, for example, will explode and the shrapnel will collide with the ground, Crash or other characters in a realistic way. The game will also incorporate morphing and particle systems. This will allow for interesting enemies and boss characters using Terminator 2 and Abyss style effects. As well as the above, we will include volumetric lighting and shadowing, fogging and all the usual high-end effects expected from a next-generation game. The game will be a showcase for the PS2 and will prove that Crash gameplay is as addictive as ever. Game genre. Linear platform as previous Crash games, but with branching and some open areas and flying or racing based sub-games. Graphics. Real-time 3D environments and characters. Art direction. As previous Crash games, but with higher resolution and slightly edgier. The perspective. Third person. The level layout. Linear in-game selectable from a level select screen. The platform. PS2. Number of players. Single player. Market. 7 to 16-year-old boys and girls. Core gamers. Release Q3 or 4 2001, competitive products Spyro 2, Rayman 2, Tarzan. Okay, the story. Neocortex has turned the peaceful solar system of Tiban Coda into his own laboratory experiment. Each of the 5 once beautiful and serene planets in the system has been converted into a virtual chemistry set. He has subjected one planet to extreme heat, another to extreme cold, blocked out all sunlight from one, flooded one with water. Then he has tried to create new species to survive in the extreme conditions. He has been employed by the ultimate evil, Elemental, her aim to create the perfect battle drone suitable to aid her conquest of the galaxy. Each of the planets has a Neocortex controlled research center which keeps the planet in its extreme condition. Each research center is protected by a Neocortex experimental life form. This is a boss. Crash has to find the passkeys to a research lab from each level. Once he has all 4 keys, he can access the research center. He can then destroy the research base to return each planet to its natural state. He then has to defeat the world boss before he can get to the next planet. He then has to destroy Neocortex's orbital space station and defeat Neocortex and Elemental. There is a hidden bonus item on each world. Crash needs to find all 5 of them. Crash will receive the bonus item if he rescues all the indigenous inhabitants that he sees in the world. There may only be inhabitants on one level in each world. Main characters. The main character will, of course, be Crash. Coco will appear in the game to help with some of the levels. She is also the spaceship's pilot. Neocortex is the bad guy. He is employed by the ultimate bad girl, Elemental. She wants him to master the elements of fire, ice, light and water to enable her to take over the galaxy. New female character ideas. 1. A new character that will become Crash's love interest will appear in the game at key moments. She will be masked at first and will help Crash out at key points. She will be kidnapped by Neo at the end of the game. I think Crash was rescuing his girlfriend Torna in the first game, so this may not work. 2. Coco's evil twin. Separated at birth, Quoco was raised in secret by Neocortex. She doesn't know that Crash is her brother. She is controlled by a mind control device. It is shaped like a letter N and is attached to her forehead. She looks like Coco, obviously, except she has blue eyes instead of green and wears her hair differently. At the end of the game, Crash can destroy the mind control device and rescue his sister from the clutches of Neocortex. She will appear in-game to try and direct Crash the wrong way at junctions or to lead Crash into the hands of enemies. Coco appears in-game in a similar way to help Crash, so the player has to identify quickly which twin is which to avoid unnecessary problems. 3. Neo Cortex's daughter Rio appears in cutscenes and in-game. She is basically good and tries to help Crash when she can. Neo Cortex and Rio converse in a similar way to Dr. Evil and his son, Scott. Neo Cortex is bent on destroying Crash, and Rio kinda likes Crash. Possible love interest. Neo may accidentally kill her at the end of the game while trying to kill Crash. Crash can save her if he is quick during end battle. 2 endings, 1 sad, 1 happy. Moves list. Crash has a few new moves and animations as well as his old ones. Basic moves: standing idle, various idle poses, run, jump, belly flop, spin, super spin, which is powered up spin, crouch, crawl, high jump, slide, super slide, high jump up to grating, climb up pole, pole climbing, jump off pole, spin around pole, hanging, release grating, spin, pull legs up, swimming, fast kick, swim and spin forward. Worlds. There are 4 planets that Neo Cortex is experimenting with, and then Crash has to defeat Neo Cortex and Elemental in Neo's space station. Planet 1. Neo Cortex has reflected all the sun's light onto this planet, causing it to turn into a world full of volcanoes, deserts and molten lakes. Location features include deserts, molten metal lakes, volcanoes, burning forests, fire geysers, rock impacts launched from volcanoes, research base in crater of volcano, lava tubes, bubbling mud pools, steam jets, etc. Planet 2. Neo Cortex has pumped ice into the core of this planet, causing the once tropical planet to freeze up. Location features include frozen forests, waterfalls, seaside town, avalanches, cracking ice, freezing water, research base on iceberg, crevices, large snowballs. Planet 3. Neo Cortex has broken the water mantle surrounding this planet, causing it to flood. Location features include swimming through flooded towns, jumping on debris, floating on water, floating research base. Planet 4. Neo Cortex has blocked out the sun, plunging the planet into darkness. Location features include gothic villages, spooky forests, gloomy lakes and pools, shadowy caves, iridescent lights. Neo's space station. This space station has labs with specimens from each of the planets to contend with, as well as varying gravity from upside down to no gravity at all. Location features include the main reactor room, experiment labs, weapons array, outer hull, sub-reactor meltdown. Level structure. There are 5 levels and a boss per world. The first 4 levels of a world can be accessed straight away. Once these levels are complete, the research lab for that world can be entered. Once the research lab is completed, you can face the level boss. When the level boss is completed, you go to the next planet. Crash reaches each level by being beamed down to the planet by Coco. Once a planet is completed, you can fly to the next one. You can revisit the planets that are already open. Each of the 5 levels has its own distinctive style. Level A is 1/3 linear and then opens up into an open area where you can rescue a creature. Then you can ride on the creature through the last third of the level, which is linear again. Level B is 1/4 linear and then an open area where you can choose to go one of 2 ways. At the end of the 2 paths is another open area which leads to a single path. To access the single path, you have to solve a puzzle such as put the fire out on the bridge using a water blast. The single path leads to the level end. Level C is a linear forced scroll level. Level D is a race/battle level. Level E is the research base. It may have open areas and branching. Level progression. Start at a planet, pick any of the 4 levels. When you've done all 4, you can unlock the research base, fight the boss, and go to the next planet. Okay, well the document continues with the following pages. There's a page on Planet Hot, on Planet Cold, Planet Water, Planet Dark, Neo's base, on the bosses, the extra crate types, the transportation, which are the vehicles and the animals, all the enemies listed, robotic and stuff like that. So I don't know if this is interesting or not. I think this video's gone on long enough now, but let me know in the comments if you want to hear the rest of the document, which goes into lots more detail, whether this is even interesting or not. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this different kind of video. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of this kind of video, and also let me know what changes you spotted between this document and the final game, and whether you think they're good changes or bad changes, or whether you think some of the things should have survived that we got rid of would have made for a better game. Okay, well that's about all from me. I'll see you next time, and I hope you enjoyed this very different kind of video. Goodbye.